All right, well, welcome to the R&R Show. Sit back and relax and enjoy the best little sports show ever. I'm your host, Michael Roope, and to the left of me is my co-host, William Rumsey. Hello, William.
Who day?
All right, well, it's been a while since we've been in studio. We've had some of our guests clamoring, and I mean clamoring, for an episode from the R&R crew, and I apologize we didn't get any pre-draft coverage. But William and I thought it was important to, let the fine folks and our fans, know what we thought about the draft.
So we're not talking about the Kentucky Derby today?
No Kentucky Derby. Do you have a hat?
I do have a hat. Have you ever been to the Derby?
I have not. Me and my wife have always talked about going to the Derby, but I was kind of turned off because I heard the infield is just a muddy mosh pit, typical.
A mess.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go down do an R&R at the Derby next year.
Very possible. I don't like getting messy though.
Nah, me neither.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't. I would like to be in the grandstands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The R&R doesn't do well in the elements.
Yeah, I'd like to hobnob with Tommy Terrific up there. He's usually at the Derby.
Maybe
I think.
Wes Welker.
Yeah. Oh, he usually has a good
liked
time.
The party.
He does like to have a good time at the Derby, but
but no, the draft. Like we didn't get in there during the middle of the draft. We thought we'd just let everybody else talk, and then we'd do the recap of everything a week later. What do you think?
Well, the funny thing is, going into the draft, I was still to the, my want was still to even beef up that line more, only if Linderbaum fell.
Right.
Because I thought he was, and most pundits said he's the best center to come out of the last decade. And then, of course, our bitter rival, the Ravens, snagged him. And everybody said that was just an unbelievable pickup. But again, as far as what I think about the Bengals draft, I think they've done well. And the only reason their grade was a little all over the board from some of the experts, but they did the one thing they needed to do, and that's address their weakness, which was basically the secondary. And what did they do? They did the top two picks. They addressed that. And, what I loved about it was their number one pick is very versatile, which is our defensive coordinator's calling card, because he does dial up a lot of different looks in the secondary. And then their second round pick, I thought was, I saw some of his highlights and some of the things that he does, and he looks extremely athletic. But I will tell you this, I really like their fifth round pick. I think he's going to be a sneaky good pickup. But what do you think about their draft as a whole?
I thought it was an interesting Bengals draft because they traded up twice, which
I like
never see the Bengals do.
Yeah.
Their first round pick, I'm super excited. I think Zach Taylor and Lou Anarumo, I think I pronounced that right, when they when they had that press conference the day after they took Dak, so they looked like kids on Christmas morning. They were I don't think that they were Linderbaum would have been there. I don't think they were. I think that Dax Hill was their guy.
Yeah.
I know. I'm with you. Beef up the offensive. You and I have been saying beef up the offensive line just because we're gun shy. We've seen what's happened to Burrow. But I think, the secondary, I think the writing is on the wall. I think Jessie Bates is probably gone. I don't think you take three picks in the defensive backfield without, I just don't think they're going to pump the resources into Jessie Bates.
Yeah.
They've got to line up for those big contracts that are coming down.
But I wouldn't even mind because, they franchised them this year, so they can franchise him one more year. I don't even mind if they do that another year.
I don't think they're going. I read something they can't do that, or they won't do that, or something.
I think they can, but they probably, because Jesse doesn't like to be franchised.
No, he's not showing up to off-season workouts. It's kind of, you've got guys rumbling in the locker room about pay Jessie Bates. So you hope this doesn't become. But I like that they're teammates. They want to see one of their comrades get paid.
But they're not numbers people, I mean, when the bottom line comes, when we're going to have obviously Burrow and Chase coming down the pipe, there's going to be even more tougher decisions to be made. So that he's just going to be a casualty, and it's a guaranteed casualty. Whether it's after this year or the following year, it's going to happen. But I mean, I think the Bengals realize they have a golden opportunity these next 2 years, and they want to capitalize. So they address their main weakness, and I think I'm on the same boat as you. They realize that's their main weakness, and they were going to attack it no matter what.
Yeah, but to go back to just the draft, Dax Hill, watching his high, I mean, that kid.
Yeah,
he's an athlete. I mean, he does some things on a football field that you recognize right away why they were excited and why they focused in on him because. Again, what we talked about, the Bengals traded up a couple of times, so they could have pulled the trigger, but I read that they were just happy that Dax Hill kept falling. They snagged him. Pair that with the Cam Taylor-Britt. I mean, people weren't as high on him as they were others, but they were afraid that he was going to slip away. That's why they traded up to get him.
Yeah, I think that was the last corner that they deemed would be pushing for a starting job that was still left on the board. So I like being aggressive. Don't mind giving up that background pick because those typically, 99% of the time aren't going to make it or make a difference.
But I think too the Bengals grades. You're right. It ran the gamut of what kind of grades all the experts gave them. But a lot of it is they didn't have very many picks. They had 6 picks, whereas I think what did Baltimore have 11?
Yeah.
So, I mean, volume versus, typically you want more picks because they're lottery tickets, but I just think the Bengals are a deep squad.
Yeah.
So they made, but
they're a well-rounded squad.
I mean,
typically most teams have some warts, as we like to say, or some weaknesses. But the Bengals as a whole, whether it's special teams, defense, offense, they are so well-rounded all the way around. They are going to be a juggernaut.
They are. And I'll tell you, there's this gentleman I follow on Twitter, and he asked some topics that he should do for his podcast regarding the Bengals. I said, the national image of the Bengals versus the local. Sometimes I don't think the national guy, so case in point, Todd McShay, he put out mock drafts, his final mock draft, he had the Bengals taking a linebacker. I was like, there is no way in hell the Bengals are taking a linebacker.
No,
that goes to show, these guys, they don't have enough time to cover all the team. I don't think that the national folks truly, I mean, yes, they got a taste of what the Bengals were about last year, but you and I think this is a special Bengals team.
I was a little, the only disappointment I had, and, when we talked to pre-draft, I was all about getting the cornerback. If we didn't get Linderbaum, I said, well, then let's get either Booth or Elam from Florida. But I understood why they did what they did because Elam, they graded. Now, Booth he slipped quite a bit. There's obviously some issues that we don't know about.
Well, he's got some injury issues.
Yeah, some injury issues. But I think the Bengals definitely, because the defensive coordinator runs a lot of 3 safeties to kind of cover up some different things. Now you have 3 quality safeties that he's going to have a lot of fun playing with. And I think that they said that the other safety, Hilton, not Hilton, who am I looking for? He's a better basically run supporter as Jessie Bates.
Mike Thomas back there.
Yeah, I think maybe it was Tom. He's more whoever the other safety is. Yeah. He was more apt as a run stuffer, which they will obviously bring him up and let Hill and Bates roam the backside. Now I'm interested to see if Cam Taylor comes out of this beating Eli Apple. If he does, boy, we really then are looking way good because then that means that we have now a fairly solid backup in Eli. I'm not an Eli Apple truther, but as a backup,
Eli Apple truther.
Hey,
that's tough to say.
Yeah, well, but I'm not. But as a backup, heck yeah, I'm on board with that.
I think I'm not an Eli Apple, but I defend him. I'm not a truther, but I think he played pretty damn well. I mean, everybody's taste in their mouth from Eli the Apple is what happened.
He's not the apple of your eye.
No, but Cooper Kupp torched him a little bit. But it's like
Cooper Kupp torched.
I mean, but I think Eli Apple re-signed with the Bengals. He knows he was in a good spot last year. Defensive coordinator really likes him. I could see him coming out just being pissed because everybody was just like, oh, they need to draft somebody to replace Eli Apple. So regardless of whoever wins, I think it's going to be a dogfight to see who.
Well,
and that's only going to make
Eli's
him better.
saying all the right things
Yeah.
because and that's good for him because he's eager to prove that he does belong. So that like you said, that's only going to encourage more of a healthy battle. I think they understand they were an inch away from winning a world championship, and I think they understand that they have it an inch away. But that being said, let me ask you this: there's some free agents available. The Giants are letting go of one of the top corners in the league, Bradbury. Do you think the Bengals, A, do we have the cap room to squeeze him in? And then B, do you think that they would make a play? I saw some of the teams that would be a good fit for him. And on CBS Sports, I know that Carolina and Washington was two of the possible landing spots because of the Riviera Riverboat Ron connection. But I think the best place for him to be would be the Bengals.
I don't think they will.
Just because
the draft capital that they pumped out, for the defensive backfield, re-signing Eli Apple. Now, if they didn't re-sign Apple, yeah, but I just don't. I could be wrong. I mean, depth is good, but I don't.
Because he's going to want you're going to want to sign him to a long term for what you're going to have to give. But I will say this. I think the Bengals this year, NFL has never been one to do a lot of big trades before deadline. I know they're kicking themselves in the ass for not getting Gilmore last year.
Yeah.
I guarantee if there's a weakness this year, they will be aggressive. Because they took a 5th round pick to get Gilmore because it's a rental.
Yeah, but
it's a rental. So if you need a rental to get you over the hump for a championship, you better do it.
Part of me says no. The Bengals don't make trades. It's just not what they do. But the Bengals have just changed up things that the last 3 years, things that they have done and not done before. So everything's on the table, I think, at this point.
Yep.
And you see a team like the Rams, they're just aggressive with their trading. Maybe
they don't care. They don't care about that.
But they won a championship, so they made a trade for Von Miller last year, and obviously you watched him beat.
He lit it up at the end.
Offensive line like a drum. So you're right. I mean, I just think everything right now. I mean, we're homers, whatever, but the Bengals team is just it's set up for success, set up for long-term success. I think these guys, just one thing I didn't mention with the overall thing, that the Bengals are now picking guys that are just like captains of their team, just very high character, love football, whereas,
they've got a good locker room. I mean, that's been the overwhelming theme last year was how well that locker room is. I think they've got a tight-knit group. I think they enjoy each other. I don't think there's no prima donnas in the group.
Well, I think the one guy, that the story came out, Jackson Carman, through the draft.
That's a worry.
That is a worry. So,
I think
they've got a lot of competition.
Well, they've got some depth now because all those people that started this year or last year, they've all kind of they're taking a back seat. Now they will be hungry to try to get back into that starting rotation, which is good.
And they drafted that kid in the 4th round.
Yeah, that Volson. Yeah,
I mean, he looks like he's just the glass eater type that the offensive line coach likes. So
I'm telling you, we're set up really, really well. But I'm telling you that Tyson Anderson, watch out, that DB from Toledo. I'm telling you right now, he may be the sleeper of this Bengals draft because he could be. I mean, I'm telling you, they're going to be deep in that backfield. If you haven't seen Tyson Anderson, any of the videos, I mean, you're going to be very impressed with this guy. And for a 5th round. Snag, I think he has an opportunity to see some pretty significant playing time.
Yeah, but that's, going back, not to beat a dead horse, the Jessie Bates, you just hope he doesn't hold out during training camp because that will be the story.
But I think he's smart enough to know the writing's on the wall. He's let him play I think he's smart enough to play his ass off and get his big payday next year if the Bengals don't franchise him again, which I'm sure there's backroom talks. Hey, listen, I'll do this, but you can't franchise me. Let me earn my money. And I think Jessie, he likes his teammates, and he's going to want to put his best foot forward so he can get that big contract if he has a good year.
Are you surprised that the Bengals didn't dabble in a wide receiver?
A little bit with what's his face, Higgins coming off the injury, but again, I mean they've been relatively healthy. Now there's a lot of guys still on the free agent market, like your second that have been longtime NFL starters. They can get off the scrap heap, so to speak. And same way with tight end. I was a little shocked they didn't take some kind of draft pick in the tight end area, but I think that they are at least they're too deep sample. He's kind of an afterthought, but I think he's just more of a blocker. But I'm pretty excited where the Bengals are because I think they realize there's probably about 8 tight ends right now that they can snag off the heap, and I think those tight ends are kind of longer in the tooth, and they're just waiting for an injury or an opportunity to come about.
Maybe they're waiting for the Mayer kid from Notre Dame next year.
I don't think we're going to be up that high enough
I hope
to get
not.
boy. But if they what if they made a trade to get up into that?
Man.
But again, that would be very impressive.
One guy we didn't touch on is the 3rd round pick, Carter from Florida. Did you see anything?
Well, I know all the pundits did not like that pick. They said that was a reach, but I will just tell you again, we get back to the defensive coordinator scheme. I just think he's just another piece of the puzzle on what they do schematically. He raved about it. He says he is a guy that will fit our scheme well. And when you dive into the X's and O's to the average fan, we don't understand what's going on and what they're attempting to do. And he raved about him. So.
That's good enough for me.
That's good enough for me. We normally, that wasn't good enough for the both of us. Yeah. As early as last year when he didn't pick Sewell.
We
questioned everything. We questioned everything. But at this point.
That's why I said before the draft, it was like, I was like, I trust whatever they've got going on. They have been nails on their draft.
Except for when they passed on Humphrey and took Jackson Carman. If they could have reversed that, boy.
They just don't.
I think we'd be looking at it.
The league just does not value the center position.
They don't. But that's your first line of defense. I mean, and he's making the line calls, so you have to.
So where I saw a ranking the other day about the offensive line of the Bengals, where do you put it now?
Well, I will tell you this.
The ranking I had them in the top 10.
I would say probably around 13, 14.
Okay.
Which, boy, from last year.
13, 14. Man, you must have done your
I dialed that in. Well, it's just, but it had the opportunity to be a top 5. If they'd have got Linderbaum, I would have put him in a top 5. But again, you've got that one spot. It's going to be a little bit of they'll rotate and do some mix and matches to see exactly what best combination works. But I tell you what, if Carman Jackson does not put his best foot,
Carman Jackson or Jackson Carman?
I always say Carman. I want to say Carman Jackson every time. Yeah. But Jackson Carman, if he doesn't put his best foot forward and put these these rumors to rest, I can see them cutting bait with him as early as next year.
Yeah.
So, but again, I'm very, very pleased. I think we are on the possible. We're getting ready to witness maybe an offensive explosion, possibly a record-setting offense, because it's going to be impressive. And I think that defense, because here's how it's going to play out. Why they addressed, not only was it a need, I think the Bengals are going to be kind of like the 2007 Patriots when they're scoring a lot. The teams are going to be forced to be winging the ball to catch up. Defense is going to be really good for the Bengals because I could see them having a lot of pick sixes, a lot of things, where where the Bengals defense is going to look good because they're going to be able to pin their ears back. That's
Let's
pretty
get to
exciting.
football. Baseball season's a wash.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
get to football season.
Well, so also let's talk about. I know we're going to be talking about coming up not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. They are going to be releasing the schedule release. I'm excited because I think we're in store for the max primetime games, which I believe is 6?
5.
5. Okay, guarantee we hit that mark.
And that's Thursday,
Sunday night,
Sunday, and Monday. But I also read that they're probably going to have a lot of 4 o'clock, 4:30.
and they
games
should,
because they said that's actually the most watched time slot out of all of them.
and it's probably God. I don't see how Sunday night's not the best.
Well, maybe I read it wrong.
Yeah, because Sunday night's just I'm like a little kid in a candy store.
But we're getting old and it's getting late.
It's true, but man, how exciting is it when you get when you can gear up, whether it be a late 4 o'clock game or a Sunday night game or a Monday or a Thursday night. I mean, we're like, it's exciting, and the Bengals are going to be a lot of that where we gear up throughout the day. There's going to be a lot of Bengals parties throughout the year because, it's exciting.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I want to go to a couple games this year. I want to give back to the, it's crazy because the Bengals are putting a great product on the field. I want to give them my money.
Yeah, the exact opposite of the Reds.
Yes, I don't want to give them a dime.
Well, I will say this about the Reds. Just we won't beat a dead horse, but I will say this: I was prepared to give my hard-earned dollar for the team that they had put on the 2 previous years with Trevor Bauer and all that. They had a good team, and it's just a shame that the pandemic didn't allow us to do that because I think they may not have cut ties. I just think that strapped them so much financially, but now it's like they're just stuck in a vortex. Which
the bad thing is there's not a light at the end of the tunnel. There's nothing. Their minor leagues aren't strong.
No.
They don't have any money.
Well, that's why they're going to need to cut ties with Votto and Castillo. They just need to rip it all down. I know it's going to be another PR hit, but you've got to do it.
Yeah, you can't. Like Walter White said, no half measures.
No, and that's what. And I just think they were waiting for Castillo to be healthy and then throw a couple games and then he's out of there. And Votto, let's just do him a favor, throw him a bone, get him out there on a
He's
team.
got a no trade clause. I don't think he wants to go anywhere.
He's such a weird dude. He is a very weird dude. But anyway, getting back to the Bengals, exciting times, guys. Let us know what you guys think about the draft. Did you love it, hate it? Did you want them to do something else? Did you want more out of it? Let us know. We're going to start pumping. We're going to come back on here to talk about the schedule here in a week because
are we going to do predictions at that point?
Yeah, we'll do some.
Or do we do just
Well, we usually did early season. Once that schedule hit, we just automatically. And last year, I think we gave it like a.
I was way off.
Yeah, I think we gave like a 7 win.
I think you gave 7. I was probably 6.
Yeah, and obviously we eat crow gladly on that,
absolutely.
and we ate crow gladly on the Chase mess. So, but that's what this is all about. I'm excited because I know, obviously, just thinking aloud, real quick before they come out with the schedule, guarantee the Bengals Chiefs is going to be a primetime game because they play all the first place teams from a year ago. So who else was?
Well, it'll be. I know they play the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers will be a prime time.
Cowboys will probably be.
That'll be
I hope that's a Sunday night game. It's at Dallas. Then I'd say the Saints game. That'll be. That'll just be big because Chase and Burrow are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, but what division did they play out in the NFC this year, or what?
The NFC, it would be the South, wouldn't it? Because if they're playing the Buccaneers.
Yeah. Okay. So you got who's in that division?
The
Saints?
Panthers, Saints.
And no Panthers. Panthers. That's not worthy.
Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers, and there's one more. Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers. Oh God.
Falcons. Yeah, that ain't happening.
No.
But I will tell you this: they've got on the AFC side first place teams. You had the Chiefs, which they'll play. You had Tennessee. That could be a prime time.
Yeah.
Who would be the other division?
The North. We'll play.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's only 3.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's. Yeah.
Or no, they play the Bills.
Bills. Boy, there you go. That'll be a prime. Without a doubt. That could be an AFC Championship preview.
Can you imagine if they put that? That's like the first Sunday night game.
I mean, that would be. I'll just tell you right now, the Bills, and then the whole AFC West is your main competitors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be exciting. AFC is going to be absolute. Yeah. And to be honest with you, the Bengals better be on point because I mean, there's no guarantee. The Super Bowl losers from the previous year do not have a good track record traditionally for making it even back into the playoffs.
No, but these Bengals are different.
Yeah, it feels different.
It feels different.
Boy, I'm telling you, Mixon's going to have a huge year. Burrow's going to have a monster. I mean, they are going to light up. I bet they. I'm gonna throw it out there. They're gonna average 30 plus a game.
Yeah.
If they don't average 30 plus a game, that would be a disappointment.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't because
agreed.
Every phase of the. I mean, usually you don't care about the special teams, but man, we got the best kicker
Somebody
in the game.
throws him down.
I know. Wait, real quick, I do want to say one other thing. I noticed that they re-signed Huber.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's because, I'm telling you, I heard the special teams coach, it's because of his holding capabilities. The way he holds balls.
Are we going to get one of our own, Drew Chrisman? Is he going to make the team? Or is he going to keep him on the practice squad?
I don't know. I'm just telling you, because I heard the special teams coach talked about, it used to be that it was 60% punting or 70% punting that they cared about and 30% holding. Now they said it's about 50-50. And so
can we get Drew Chrisman on board with the holding? I mean, because I tell you that Huber's punting is shaky. He's long in the tooth.
Will you just have a special spot on the team just for a holder?
You can't. There's no way. They value those spots. If he can't play on the coverage teams, then you just can't make.
I'm telling you that is the reason they re-signed him, for his holding capabilities. And look at what happened last year. I mean,
I hope we're not paying big dollars.
What, 12 for 12 in the playoffs?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't think we should
pay.
Can
you imagine in a big moment?
Can we not
have Christmas screws up a hold?
Do we know if he's a good holder? We don't.
Well, I think this re-signing of Huber tells us all we need to know.
Who's the backup Bengals quarterback? Is it still Allen?
Yeah.
Is he not a good? I mean, that used to be the backup quarterback's job.
Don't ask me, man.
If he can't do it, then find a backup that can do it.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you.
I don't like it. Anyway.
Get him out.
All right. Right. That's right. Well, join us, next week as we, digest the schedule and come get William and I's early season predictions.
Man, I'm excited.
The way too early season predictions. But we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.